This is CJ Ferry of Spindle City Straight Talk. I want to reach out to you today and let's discuss a few issues that have been going on here in Fall River. You know, it's kind of scary when I listen to our elected officials and they actually come back with they voted for something because either it was the right thing to do or they voted for something on faith. You know, for you to have faith in somebody, you have to have a lot of belief that they're going to do what they say they're going to do. It's very obvious right now that the current mayor of the city of Fall River and his administration and his administrative people have been deceptive, not only to the people, but to our city council, our legislative branch. They approved the separation, the division of the Department of Community Maintenance into two divisions, Building and Grounds and DCM, which take care of streets, highways, and sidewalks. Currently, they take care of sanitation, which, if all goes according to the mayor's plan, sanitation will not be there. So that department is being cut by 1/3. Now, the proposal initially had $98,000 for each position, saying that there was going to be a savings from it. There is no savings. 98 and 98 is $196,000. The previous director earned 115. So already you're over. And every time the mayor tries to come up with the numbers to justify the savings, there is no justification. The numbers don't work. The mayor went so far as to have Mary Sahadi go to Human Resources and ask for a way to make the numbers work for the health insurance. Human Resources said there's no way to make the numbers work. This is the way it is. And so when that information came before the city council, and in order to squash that information from being spoken about to the city council and to the citizens, city council president kept moving for a motion to withdraw, a leave to withdraw. And it didn't come fast enough, and so the information about the health insurance was presented. There is no shortfall. How the school department keeps saying they have a shortfall, we don't know. But the numbers was presented by an expert that knows the numbers. Guess what? Kind of scary. You can't do that type of stuff, but they did. Back to DCM, the city, or I should say the mayor, has hired an individual, Christopher Oakenfer, who's worked in Dartmouth and Maynard and elsewhere, and they hired him for $110,000. Lie number one. That may actually be lie number two. Because when you consider the fact that it was told $98,000, now they come back and they say, oh, well, that's because we have to pay good money for good people. I guess we have no good people in the city of Fall River because there were applicants from Fall River. Mr. Oakenfer is not a resident. Now, according to city ordinance, he must, not shall, not should, he must establish residency within the city of Fall River within 18 months because the city council didn't have a backbone when they enacted this legislation. Further, they exempted anyone who currently works for the city, which is another mistake. If you work for the city, you live in the city. Spend your money here. But no, we have a fire chief and a police chief which don't live in Fall River. They live out of the city. We have other people who work for the city that don't live here. It's time to do away with these grandfather clauses. It's time to change the ordinance. And more particularly, it is time to get back to normal. You cannot have normal when you lie, misrepresent, or fabricate. Trust is rapidly deteriorating within the city of Fall River, most of which has been happening for some time. If Mr. Oakfer wants this job, because he's going to save money just on gasoline back and forth to Maynard, then let him take it for 98. If he can't take it for 98, find somebody within the department that will. Members of the city council, I'm going to say this very clearly to you. I'm going to say it without any hesitation. If you don't like what's in the budget, if you can't agree with any of it, vote it down. Yes, I know it's going to be tough. The city's going to have to go on a 1/12 budget. But every position, every action taken by this mayor can be turned down, including contracts, by the city council. If you do not fund it, it doesn't happen. You can review the Attleboro Fire Department versus the city of Attleboro. A contract had been entered into. The city council of Attleboro refused to fund it. It had to go back to negotiations. And that is a court ruling. Understand, the city council has a lot more authority than they think they do, or they want to let you believe. And they all seem to use the Pereira principle. You have to vote for something even though you know it's wrong. Currently, the city council is saying, oh, but we operated on faith. We were doing this on faith. If you have a number that's not there, you don't vote for it. It's no. When you say no, it's no. If you say I'm not sure, it's no. Unless you have every duck in a row and every number before you and every savings there, and you can confirm it, you vote no. That doesn't make you an obstructionist. It makes you a representative of the people. It is that representation that the people of Fall River want. It's that representation that the people of Fall River demand. And when you don't do that, when you don't give them what they expect, you are failing to uphold your duty. You are failing to honor the obligation of your oath, and you are serving your own need. That need is unacceptable. The needs of the people outweigh the needs of you. And when you think that your needs outweigh the needs of the people, you are pompous. Now, I know some city councils say, you're calling me an idiot. You can't do that. I'm not calling anyone an idiot. I'm telling you, be prepared. This budget's going to be coming down shortly. And when it does, make sure you can verify every single number. We're looking at a privatization contract, which is a joke. You know, I did some quick numbers on that. The average cost for a three-family home to privatize their sanitation, property owners, listen to this, is approximately $50 a month using 2 bins. That averages out a little less than $16 a unit. A bin is about $23 to $25. So, if you have a 3-unit or 4-unit property, you can say that's going to be about $600 to $1,200 a year. Okay? $600 for 3, maybe $12 for a 4. Max. These are max numbers. Let's use the premise of $50 for a 3-unit property. Or better yet, let's knock it up even further. Okay? For a 3-unit property, that comes out to be $55,000 a year for every residential unit in the city of Fall River. Because remember something, property owners and taxpayers, if you have 6 apartments in your building, you must, under city ordinance, use private sanitation. Many of you are getting away with using city. I'm sure that ordinance is going to be enacted very shortly, so you may want to start looking now. But 3,300 units. That's $55,000 a year. That's a big chunk of money if the city just does what we suggested they do back in January last year. I said to the mayor in January of this year, and I'll say it again, issue an executive order effective July 1st. The city of Fall River shall no longer provide municipal solid waste services. All municipal solid waste services are the responsibility of the property owner and must be enacted immediately. That's a huge savings for the city of Fall River. Oh, and by the way, property owners, that $55,000 for all the units, what you pay maybe for a 3-unit building of $50 a month on average, you can deduct $600 off your taxes at the end of the year. So do you see how this can work out? It's really not a lot of money. And you and I both know that the property owner will pass that cost on to the renter. And you don't have to worry about purple bags. You don't have to worry about fines. You don't have to worry about any of that. I don't tout privatization all the time, but I'll tell you something. In this case, I think it's necessary. And I don't mean the city privatizing, because we're locked into contracts with BFI and everyone else under the sun. If the city doesn't have solid waste, we're not locked into anything. Those contracts only exist as long as we have solid waste. This is a common sense approach to trash in Fall River. And many media representatives have said this for months. But for some reason, the administration previous and the current administration don't want to hear it. It's time for the voice of the people to be heard. It's time for the voice of the people to speak. It's time for the voice of the people to take back their government. Maybe, just maybe, this message will reach 1, maybe 2, possibly 3. But how many times do your rights need to be trodden upon? How many times does this city, this administration, this city council have to step on your rights, take money out of your pocketbook to serve their needs and their friends' needs and their families' needs? Because that's what they do. And to ever say, I have to vote for it because we can't afford it. No, you don't have to vote for anything. There's 2 things you have to do in life. Okay? 2 things. One is breathe, one is die. That's it. You don't have to do anything else. As an elected official, you have 3. The first is represent the people, not you. The second is breathe. The third is die. If you can't do the first, maybe you should look at doing the third, because that's how poor your representation will be. You may have been elected for 10 years. You may have been elected for 15 years. You may have been reelected for 20 years. But guess what? That's a track record. And obviously it's one that we can no longer afford. Thank you for listening. And remember, watch Spindle City Straight Talk Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 11 a.m. live. Replay it again at 5, or follow us on YouTube. Thank you very much. Have a great day.